Today, we're talking about one of the most important things that you can do to be successful in this hobby. Even if it's just collecting or it's investing, it's the same thing. And a lot of people, newer people coming in, this is a big thing that they miss out on pretty massively, and it really sets them back. And it's going to sound very simple, but this is the truth, and it's maybe a harsh reality to some of you, but it's time. Now, give me a second and I'm going to break it down exactly what I mean. Time in the hobby, there's a lot that you can get from it, but the first thing that you're going to get is experience. And when I talk about the experience, because there's so much to learn, especially if you're new, right? You have to learn when to buy, you have to learn how things work, you have to learn about reprints. What about restocks, reprints versus restocks? Then, oh, what about grading? What if you want to grade? Well, there's a ton of grading companies, and then you just send stuff in, and you don't know what you're doing, and it takes time. It takes submissions to learn for grading. Which products are you going to buy? If you're on the investing side, are you just buying everything you can find at your Walmart and Target, or are you focusing on booster boxes and PCETBs? What about promos? Are you only buying from the Pokemon Center? You see what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot. One that you'll just learn over time, and you can watch videos like this. You can watch other creators as well. You can go on there, and taking the information in is very helpful, and it can help you formulate in your head. But a lot of the times, you just need that experience, right? You need to do, and you need to fail. Failing is important. Failing is the best teacher. When you fail, when you do something bad, you will not do that again, right? And I am like the first thing with you, like, I have made mistakes, tons of bad mistakes in the hobby. Everyone has, right? And you also have to learn how to like deal with that, feel okay with it, not think like the world's ending. Okay, so that's kind of big right there. Is there's so much, and I'm talking like years of experience, and that's what I mean with the casual people who come in, or if you're just new, and there's nothing wrong, like you just are coming back into the hobby, you just started getting into Pokemon, and it's kind of scary right now, right? The market's crazy. It is hard to get product and all of that, right? But it will get better, and you have to put in time. Time is the most important thing, okay? And with time now, after have been in this hobby for years, something that I've experienced now, and if you're just getting in now, you're experiencing a bull market, right? But once you go through bear markets and then bull markets, because the Pokemon card hobby is no exception, right? It's a market, and it moves, it has ebbs and flows, ups and downs. And right now we're in extreme bear, things are up. But it wasn't that long ago that things were down. And things that you'll learn, bear markets are great. Now, I'm not talking about businesses who have to like rely on that income like every month. I'm talking about just collectors and investors. You're not relying, you're not living off of the income, right? You're just putting money in. So the bear markets, you'll learn, are great for buying. It wasn't that long ago that booster boxes were 80 bucks, some of them, right? Even 100. Okay, and they were widely available. They were available everywhere. And it wasn't maybe as exciting, but that's what you learn after time. Is these are your buying opportunities, and then your bull market runs come. If you want to sell, that's when things are up, right? Your collections just go up. If you're just a collector, you don't even have to be an investor. You see, you can buy when cards are cheaper, and then you look at your portfolio, or your app, whether you track it on Collector or wherever, right? It makes you feel good, that your cards are worth more, because there is a money aspect to this. It I'm not talking about like greed or anything like that. I'm just talking like there is a thing that makes you feel good, and you don't have to be greedy about it. But if you bought a card or you bought a box and then it went up in value, it feels good, right? It's a win. It's just a positive thing. There's nothing wrong with feeling good, that your stuff is worth more, right? Because there is a money correlation to Pokemon, and that is just the reality of what we live in. So, but understanding that, like, and right now, at some point things are going to go down, right? The bull market will not go forever. I don't know how long it will go for, but understanding that and knowing that while you're buying now, so experience it in the bull market. And the bear market, I think, is very massive. Also, real quick before we get any further, we're doing a big giveaway on the channel. Right here you can see this video, massive giveaway. I'll link it at the end of the video as well. But if you want to check out that video on how to enter the giveaway, you just have to watch this video and leave a comment, and it explains it all. If you could, if you watch it, if you could watch it all the way through, I would appreciate it. If not, no worries, but it just helps the algorithm a little bit. Then another thing that comes with time, right? Whether intentional or not, but I would hope it would be intentional, is dollar cost averaging. Now, I'm going to give you a very specific example. This can be applied to a lot of things, but dollar cost averaging is like a stock term, right? And it applies to you're buying throughout all these different points, so your average looks really good, right? And the specific Pokemon point that I want to make is Japanese 151 booster boxes. Not too terribly long ago, they had hit over $200 a box, right? 210, 220, I think even. And I'll give you an example. I was at a Collecticon, not this year's Collecticon, I think it was last year, and I bought a Japanese 151 booster box. I think it was 190 bucks. It was a little bit better deal at the show, but I bought one for 190. Only one, right? And I had other boxes already, but once things started going down, instead of panic selling and being like, oh no, because you may not have known. Also, that comes with the experience of how the Japanese market works, right? Uh, that they print a lot, okay, and they printed that box down, right? So if you bought a Japanese box at 200 bucks, you can dollar cost average because those boxes came down all the way, if you remember some of my older videos, all the way into the $40 range. You were able to get them in the $40 range. Upper 40s is kind of what it ended up being. But still, you can dollar cost average. And that's more for investing, right? Not really as much for collecting, but there is, people who do collect. I know people who will collect a whole binder or multiple pages of just one card. So that can apply for that as well. Even if it's expensive cards, cheap cards, they have ebbs and flows as well. So you're trying to buy, if you accidentally buy at the high, but you're buying multiples, you can buy on the way down and hopefully hit the bottom, and then you feel better. Dollar cost averaging is an important thing to learn. So, and nobody is perfect in this market. That's what you'll learn, that you're going to make mistakes, right? And, just be smart too. You don't want to be, along with the dollar cost averaging. It's like, yeah, I bought one 151 box high, but I didn't spend all of my money that I had allocated towards 151 boxes. I didn't spend it all there, right? You see, so on the way down, and then the average ends up being really great. You don't have to feel bad about it, okay? So dollar cost averaging is a huge thing, and that comes with time, right? Not just the knowledge to do that, but just spending time, years in the market will get you there, right? And then there's the growth, and this is like the easiest part, right? But you don't really realize, and you don't benefit from it obviously until you're years in. But let's say, for the sake of this video, that you were going to do $100 a month, collecting or investing, it doesn't matter. You're going to spend only 100 a month, but you started over like 3 years ago, right? So that's $1,200 a year, right? And you put in 3,600, and so we'll say, most of it was before the bull market that we're in now. So it took you 3 years, and you put in 3,600, but a lot of people's, on their apps and everything, things have gone up so much that 3,600 that you spent is probably 7,200 or close, more or less, depending on what you bought. It's kind of stuff's doubled overall, especially a lot of sealed stuff, right? So, and that makes you feel good. That is growth. You can't, like, people come into, and I'm not talking about scalping either. Like, that's a whole separate thing, right? I'm just talking about, some people expect like instant gratification. They expect things just to go up, them to be successful like instantly. But if you give it a little bit of time, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, even if you're not doing amazing, right? Say you don't hit that 7,200 and things didn't double, but say you put in 3,600 and you're at like 5,500, 6,000, that profit. And that's like unrealized. You haven't sold it, I understand, but still, that makes you feel good, and that's something that you don't get unless you put in the time, right? And you don't always realize it at the time either, too, especially when you're newer and you start accumulating things, right? And yeah, so slowly over time, and you realize this. So it's all experience and mindset, right? A lot of it too, like I was mentioning before. So the growth is very big, and that can be amplified. $100 a month. A lot of people are putting in more than 100. A lot of people are putting in less, and that's the other thing too. Is don't feel bad if you're doing less, even if it's $20 a month. $20 a month, you're gonna get there, especially if you go over years of time. And your stuff, you might not have as many boxes or might not have as much stuff, but you're still going to be in that same percentage wise gain. So you don't have to feel bad. Everyone's on a different budget, right? The other thing that you get after a few years is you get a calmness. There's a certain calmness to the market, to your approach, and that really tailors into experience as well. But like something that I'm realizing more and more as we go is a calmness. You're not panic selling on these drops. Once again, we're not really seeing these drops a lot right now, besides some of like the illustration rare cards and stuff like that. But even with the sealed, there will be drops. Well, I mean, we've seen some recently, like, for example, like Fusion Strike and Lost Origin had dropped down off of their highs just a little bit. But you learn not to panic sell off of those, right? You also learn not to chase, not to FOMO too much into stuff, which the FOMO can be very hard, and we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of FOMOing. Everyone does it, okay? But it becomes easier the more time you get into it, right? You understand things. So that's just another, it's like a really nice aspect. It's just a growth thing. Okay. Calmness, not, no chasing, no FOMO. It's really nice. And then kind of the last one that I wanted to touch on is the happiness. I think there's, you know, once again, there's a lot of like greed, um, or perceived greed, and like, and people who run businesses off of this, I feel like, I don't think there's anything wrong with making a living off of it, but there's just a lot of negativity, I feel like, associated with like trying to make money off of um Pokemon cards and kids, right? But if you're just in your lane as far as collecting or investing, kind of how I feel, because I do both. I'm collecting and investing, and buying these sealed boxes are an investment so I can grow my collection, right? So I can get to a place where I can get those Grail cards that I want because they're very expensive. And there's a calmness and a happiness that comes with a certain point. Once you hit a certain point, enough time in, you start to reflect on your collection, and you start to feel really good about it, because things things like this, and it's for more of like the smaller person, the average person, right? I'm not, if you're like a bigger whale and you have a lot of money to put in and you put it all in quickly, like there's nothing wrong with that. Do your thing. It's great. But like when you have had to build it up over years to get to where you are, that's what I'm talking about. It really pays off, and you really feel good about it. And that was kind of like maybe more of an unexpected thing on my side that I'm starting to get more recently, is just a happiness and a calmness. So that's something that you guys can look forward to, and maybe too, maybe something that you guys can work on, because we also, too, the human nature side of it is we take things for granted, and we start looking at the next set. What's the next set? The next set, and the next set, and the next set, because Pokemon is really just pushing that, right? We got every set coming down, and if it's not an English set, we're seeing the Japanese side, which there's nothing wrong with getting excited for it, right? I like getting excited for it. I'm all here for it. But just appreciating, like, also too, taking some time to like sit and look at your collection, sit and look at your investments. It's nice to see you take it in. I like to come sometimes, and if I need to remind myself, right, I'll come look at some slabs, I'll look at some boxes, and it makes me happy, because a lot of the times, it can be like, oh, these are just things on the wall that, like, I come in here and I don't even see them. So you got to take some dedicated time to appreciate what you've done, and it's not like a ton, like a super skill based thing that we're in, where you have to like learn how to like dribble a basketball really well and shoot a shot. It's like, it's just experience, right? Stuff that you'll gain from time, and time is the best teacher and the best healer too of negative things. So that's all I have for you guys in this one. It's a little bit different of a video, but I did think it was important, and I thought it was worth talking about, because it was just something I was thinking about recently. And so many people are bouncing off right now, and I understand why. And there's good reasons to bounce off, because things are hard, can be hard to get product and whatnot. But coming in too, if you come in, last thing, if you come in this market when things are crazy, as far as being frustrated, you're gonna do really well when things calm down, right? So you'll kind of be like battle hardened a little bit to a certain extent. especially if you don't ever extend yourself, right? If you're buying at like crazy highs and then finally things come down, you're gonna get, you might get burnt and turned off again. But you see what I'm saying? It's just all experience, and that's the best thing that I can give to you guys. It's just put in the time, and you will be successful for collecting and investing. Now, like if you need business advice, right? Yeah, you're trying to make this a full-time business and rely on this and live off of this, then this advice really isn't for you. Go check out PokeNE or someone like that. There's better advice there for business stuff. This is just for collecting and investing. But that's all I have for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you guys. I'll see you guys in the comments. See my N Gang members in the comments, and just have a great day. You guys have a great day. Hopefully you guys score some product. Hopefully you pull something awesome. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.